Well, hello, third graders, and I want you to take a look at the picture here and tell me what is it that you think you see? What are these things? What is that thing? What do we see here? And of course, what are all these things here? And some of you might already know the word for this. The word for these is planets, and of course, our sun here. The planets and our sun all make up something called the solar system. This actually comes from your book. You could turn right now to page 362 and see this picture in your book. This is what we're going to be spending the next couple weeks talking about. This is theme 11 about all of these planets and the other things in our solar system. Well, I wanted to ask, what do you know about the planets, or what do you know about any of the other things in our solar system? Is there anything that you are curious about and you want to learn about our solar system? Because we are going to learn quite a bit. Um, we are going to start today with me reading a part of my teacher's text to tell you about our solar system. And you can just look at the pictures here, see if you can guess which planet we're talking about, or in other part of the story, what other things in the solar system are we going to be talking about? There's quite a few parts, okay? So we are on page 362 and 363, and I am going to go to the other page, and you can follow along with me if you wish. Okay. So, oops, sorry. Here it is. It's called The Solar System by Dana Mishan Rao. The sun is very important to people on Earth, gives us light and heat. The sun was also important because it is the center of our solar system. Our solar system is the group of planets, including Earth, that orbit or move around the sun, along with many moons, asteroids, meteoroids, and comets. Learning about space. How do we learn about space? For thousands of years, people have looked up into the sky. At first, they believed that the sun and all the planets orbited the Earth. Then, about 400 years ago, a scientist named Nicolaus Copernicus said he believed the sun was the center of our solar system. He said the planets orbit the sun in oval shaped paths. It took a long time for people to find out that Nicolaus Copernicus was right. Before they could get proof, they needed to look at the planets through telescopes. Telescopes made the moon and planets seem closer, but some people wanted to get much closer. They wanted to visit these far off places. In the 1950s, scientists started to send machines into space. Some of these spacecraft flew by the planets and took close up pictures. In 1969, a spacecraft named Apollo 11 carried the first people to the moon. Spacecraft have helped us learn a lot about the solar system. If we turn back to the pictures that you have, this is an actual picture of an astronaut, somebody from the Earth, standing on the moon. This is next to the American flag. And this is all the things that he needs to keep him safe in in outer space. And what other things did we talk about in this last paragraph? We talked about moons. There's a couple moons around a very large planet. Scientists started to look into space using telescopes and the rest of the planets in our solar system. Which one is Earth, do you think? I know you've seen pictures of the planet Earth, the planet that we live on, but which one of these is it? Do you know? We're going to come back to these and look at the rest of these pictures in a little bit, but let's keep reading. Okay. The planets. So now we're going to read about these nine or eight, I guess, eight planets. Okay. Nine, it's different. Now it's eight planets orbit the sun. The planet closest to the sun is Mercury. Then comes Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. The first four planets, Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars, are called inner planets or rocky planets. They have solid, rocky surfaces. The next five planets, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, are called outer planets or gas planets. So if we look here, which ones are the rocky ones and which ones are the gas ones? It's actually really hard to tell sometimes. But I think these four are the planets that have a lot of rock, and these four are the ones that are way far out in space and are mostly made of gas or air. All of the outer planets except Pluto are made up mostly of gases and have rings orbiting them. Rings are pieces of rock, ice, and dust circling around a planet. Saturn has the most rings. Pluto is very different from the other planets. It is frozen, dark, and made of rock and ice. Pluto is the smallest planet in the solar system. Jupiter is the largest. Scientists are always searching for even more planets orbiting the sun. Some of you might know this already, but actually they just decided Pluto might not really be a planet. It might be too small. I wonder if any of you have heard that before. As far as we know, Earth is the only planet that has living things. It is just the right distance from the sun for planets and animals to grow and live. Moons is the next section. Many of the planets have moons. Moons orbit around the planets just like planets orbit around the sun. The surface of Earth's moon is covered with craters or holes. Many spacecraft have been sent to the moon to study it. Some of the astronauts who landed on the moon brought back rocks for scientists to study. The moon looks bright to us, but it doesn't give off light. The moon's light comes from the sun. When you look at the moon, you see light reflected off the sun. Sometimes you can even see the moon during the day. Have you ever noticed that the moon looks a little bit different every night? One night, the moon is bright and full. A week later, you can only see half of the moon. As the moon moves around the Earth, different amounts of sunlight are reflected on the surface of the moon. You are probably asleep when the moon sets, but if you watched it all night, you would probably see it moves across the sky just like the sun. It rises in the east and sets in the west. That's because the Earth is always spinning. Only one other inner planet has moons. Mars has two moons, Deimos and Phobos. The other moons in the solar system circle the outer planets, and we actually saw a picture of that right here. Here are two of the moons orbiting around Saturn, one of the bigger planets. And there is a different picture of Saturn. Jupiter has 16 moons. 4 of them are large: Io, Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto. Ganymede is the largest moon in the solar system. It is even larger than the planet Mercury. Saturn has 18 moons. One of them is Titan, the second largest moon in the solar system. Scientists believe that Uranus may have as many as 21 moons, but only 17 have names. The innermost moon is named Cordelia. It is one of the smallest moons in the solar system. Titania is the largest moon of Uranus. Neptune has at least 8 moons. Neptune's largest moon, Triton, is thought to be the coldest place in the solar system. Pluto has a moon named Charon, I believe. Charon is about half the size of Pluto itself. It is very strange. And then we also have asteroids and comets. Asteroids are pieces of rock and metal that orbit the sun. Most of them are located in an asteroid belt that lies between the orbits of Mars and Jupiter. Sometimes an asteroid breaks free from its orbit. Then it is called a meteoroid. Meteoroids may hit planets or moons. When a meteoroid hits a planet or moon, it's called a meteorite. You could see when many creators created when meteorites hit our own moon. And there are even more discoveries. Are there other solar systems as big as ours? Scientists don't think there are other stars with such a large system of planets or other objects orbiting around them. Since 1995, however, scientists have discovered almost 20 planets orbiting other stars. Many people think there are many solar systems in space. They may be too far away for our telescopes and spacecraft to find, but maybe you'll discover them someday. We might even discover another planet like Earth. Yeah, and that was a really good story. And we learned a lot, but I wanted to show you a picture of what all of this looks like, because I think sometimes it's a good idea just to see what we mean. So here is a picture of the sun with all of the planets. And you know how we said that the first 4 planets were rocky and small? Here they are. That's how small they are compared to the rest. We actually live on that one, so it isn't small. But that actually is how small the Earth looks. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Sorry. So this is how small the Earth looks when you put it next to the sun, which is huge. And look how close we are. And then we have the large planets. There's four of them here. These are the largest planets: Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. And Pluto is out here also, but they think Pluto is so small we wouldn't even be able to see it. And they don't even know if it's a planet anymore because it's really, really, really small. There's another picture that might be just, or actually even better. Oh, here it is. This one is kind of nice also because you can see that all of the planets go in a big circle around the sun. So here's the Earth. It spins around like this. So that's how we have day and night. You can see the sun is shining on this part here, which is Africa. Somalia is right here. This means it's daytime in Somalia. And over here, where we can actually see Mexico, Ecuador, and a little bit of the United States, it's nighttime. But then the planet will spin and it'll be daytime. But also, it goes all the way around on that circle. It keeps traveling all the way around in that circle. When it's on the outer side of the circle, it's winter. When it's closer, it's summer. And that's how all of that works. Of course, here is our moon. Our moon's pretty big. You can actually see it. All of these moons you can't even really see, can you? So that is our lesson for today. Your packet is going to be pretty easy. This is a new packet. The Theme 11 packet has a picture of the solar system on it, and it's actually the same picture I think I just showed you. Reading comprehension, you are going to tell us about the solar system. Here it is. One thing I didn't show you is this one right here, but I'll point it out to you when we get to our vocabulary, okay? The solar system is mostly about, is it about an asteroid belt? No. Asteroid belt is this one right here. That's what that is. It's a bunch of little tiny things that we know are not planets because they're way too small to be planets, but they're still pieces of rock and ice that are in space. It's called the asteroid belt. So this first answer goes right here. The rest of it, Earth, moon, space, sun. Which of these pictures do all of those words go to? And then we'll talk more about all of this tomorrow, okay? Have a good day, everyone.